YouTube, Damo_23 here, and welcome back to another video on the YouTube channel. It is, of course, another Premier League recap of Game Week 5. We look ahead to my plan for Game Week 6 in today's video. I have a Game Week 9 wildcard draft. This is my second draft that I'm going to share with you guys, and it is a little bit crazy and wacky. And lucky last, I want to welcome you guys to the tracker. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the tracker first, go through my results. Of course, after a very horrendous Game Week 5 for a lot of people, I'm actually very lucky with myself, to not have had such a big downward arrow. And let's get straight into it. But more importantly for me is if you can give this video a like and get in the comments down below what else you would like to see as a graphic, please do let me know. I know this is very low production, but I do love an Excel spreadsheet. The last thing I'm going to mention is Punt of the Week. Damien, what's Punt of the Week? Well, if you do not know me and my great friend Paul and Dom, when he is around, does do a podcast over on the FPL DOPADA YouTube channel, as it's spelt there under the Punt of the Week. We do a podcast, a live stream on every Monday night Australia time, and we generally do a Thursday one on a Monday to recap our results and go a bit more in depth about early transfers in and out and stuff like that. And game week, closer to game week on Thursday night Australia time, we generally do another one with players that we should target and look to bring in. During those videos, we do film some content. We're actually starting to take it a little bit more seriously, put out some shorts and put out some related videos around the podcast as well out on FPL DOPADA. Already got 20 subs, which is great, but I would love to see you guys get across there as well. It would be fantastic. Now, Punt of the Week is going to be something that is specific to that series, but I want to track how well we do. Now, what we're going to do is on every Friday UK time, Saturday morning at about 1:30 in the morning when it actually gets uploaded, on the FPL DOPADA channel, I will have a short out there about my Punt of the Week. Main reason I'm trusted with this is I've taken about 4 punts. Generally, I would say the Game Week 2 punt's not really a punt, but 3 big punts, and 2 of them have paid off. One very massively, and I have got an exciting punt ready for this game week, but you will see that over on the FPL DOPADA channel, so links down below and come follow it. Now, what this Excel spreadsheet is going to do is just give you a visual of how my season's going. As you can see, game week 1, we started really well, looked really good, and instead of having to click through on the FPL screen, I do love the screen, the Excel spreadsheet, because I can mark things in red when it's not great, or the rank goes up. I can mark things in green when it does do well. I can mark things in dark green when it's really good, as you can see in game week 4, and we can mark things in dark red when we have a pretty bad game week, like we're going to do there in game week 5. So as you can see here, very good start. We also got team value in there as well, which is superb. We had a pretty decent game week 2, 2.7 mil, but held my rank pretty well. Game week 3 was pretty good as well when I was away. Game week 4, not too bad. And game week 5, obviously, we had a crazily bad game week rank compared, as there's only 9 million managers out there. But compared to other people I've seen, we have been pretty lucky because Salah is a very good asset to own. So as you can see here, that's a rank change of 48k downwards to 94k, still in the top 100k, so we'll pat ourselves on the back. The punts of the week so far was Turner was low ownership. We obviously played him against Sheffield for the clean sheet, and he got 2 points, unfortunately. I watched that game flying out to the Gold Coast. Colwell, we brought in for Gabriel, and he got 6 points against Luton, was very low ownerships. So a pretty good punt. And then obviously you guys know about the Archer punt game week 4. We brought him in, we targeted at Everton, and he got a 12-pointer, it was great. And as you guys also know, I had a decision to make between Archer or Botman. I took the upwards of Archer, expecting Sheffield to score against Spurs. They did. Unfortunately, Archer wasn't involved, and he got a 1-pointer. And that was an 8-point swing between him and Botman. So far, my track record, not too bad. I am doing a little bit more in-depth study about who your punt should be. They're not going to necessarily be in my team, but considering it's a series that we're starting this week over on FPL DOPADA, I've kind of used the punts that were in my team for the first 4 game weeks to fill out, or or the first 5 game weeks. You got my notes in here. I always put the notes in the during the episode going forward, but I've already got the note in for this game week 5. It was a bad week in general. Nearly captain Salah. For those that aren't in the Discord, which I recommend, I switched from captain Salah to Haaland about 5 times. About a couple hours before the deadline, was watching football with my friend Paul, who I do the podcast with, and he basically sat me down and said, you got to make a decision now, or else you're going to be agonising over this. And in the end, we chose to go Haaland because, Haaland, West Ham haven't conceded, and Haaland really should have scored about a hat-trick. So there we go. Now, let's go look at the team and the points, because that's what you're really here for. And it was a turn or two, which is unfortunate, because we played him, especially for this game week. Chilwell looked pretty solid, got the clean sheet. I will say, thanks to Sanchez more than anything, Chelsea do look shaky at the back, so they're not a defence I would target. I know there's a few people out there saying, oh, but, they get clean sheet numbers. No, it's Sanchez defending very well in net, and Chelsea look shaky all across the board. Chilwell obviously didn't start, something we're monitoring but not going to panic about. I'm not selling him this game week. However, my long-term plan is if he doesn't start again in game week 7, he will be going, because he's got to lose value already. He was up to 5.8 and he's still on 5.8. We'll check some price rises in a second. But I reckon by the end of the game, it could be at least 5.7. And then if he doesn't play next week, he'd probably drop all the way down to like 5.5 because everyone will sell him. So trying to make sure we still have some money. Brought your Doji in this week for a 2-pointer, is what it is. Maddison, Bruno, all 1-pointers, not great. And Buemo didn't do much, but it's the first time he's really blank, so you can't fault the guy. Saka didn't look great, but he got a return. At the end of the day, if you don't look great and get a return, it's still fine. But he's someone that hasn't looked good, and Arsenal aren't clicking, and there is potential to sell him. And I definitely think on my Game Week 9 wildcard as it stands, he does not stick around. Lucky last Salah, what a go. Was inches away from a Harvey Elliott shot on target from a third assist. And it would have been really nice to captain him, because it would have got me to a safety rank. I think mine was like 51 points, and I would have stayed inside the top 50k. But it is what it is. Obviously, we picked Archer over Botman. It's an 8-point swing. Botman did look fantastic, and is definitely going to be in my team this week. I wanted the extra week of data to make sure he was 100% nailed after his injury. I know when he's not injured, he plays. And then obviously Haaland is still a robot, and there we go. So that is the team there. Nothing really of note and of worry. I will say it's the first time Pickford's outside, Turner in a game week where we've swapped them in and out, but it is what it is. Now, in terms of moving forward, that is the team on FPL, but I'm going to show you the team on Fantasy Football Hub. I've got one free transfer because I used 2 last week for Semenyo to come in, which funded my move from Bulldog to Udogi. And that was Semenyo for Pedro down. I will say if I kept Joe Pedro, he may have started and we would have got lucky, but he got benched, so it was not a bad decision. And sometimes you've got to take things out, take hindsight out. Did the player you sell get benched? Yes. It's a pretty good substitute. There was this period last year where Son did nothing. Everyone was getting rid of him, whatever. He got benched for Spurs and he came on. It was the only real good game, and I think he scored a couple of goals. Might have even been a hat-trick, and people were crying that they sold him. I'm like, the guy got benched and came on 75th minute. Sometimes in FPL things happen, and that's the thing with my Salah versus Haaland captain. Hindsight would tell me definitely should have captained Salah. It was a game week to go against Haaland because he was away. You watch the West Ham game, 2-point-something XG, missed a couple sitters from 6 yards. On a different day, he's got a hat-trick, and you really wish you captained him because he had 160% ownership. Now, in terms of the team, 94% team rating. I am rolling this week, and I know everyone's going for Julian Alvarez. Everyone's selling Jackson, and I will say my team is not template. And, because I have had Salah since the start. Everyone's getting off Bruno, even though he has great numbers. I know my team's not template, but I do think my team does damage. I think the back four have some really good fixtures. I think Estupiñán is fine against Bournemouth and very aggressive. I can't believe he's one of the most sold players this game week. And if you have him and you're thinking of selling him, do not sell Estupiñán before Bournemouth. Can half understand between Aston Villa and Liverpool, but if you're going to keep him in your game week wildcard and his value's at 5.3 mil, I don't think selling him is the play. Chilwell and Cole will play against Aston Villa, which means Archer, Udogi, and Semenyo go to the bench. I think that's fine. Hopefully Chilwell starts and Cole goes to centre-back, but we'll see what happens there. I'll take that risk. On top of that, Botman against Sheffield after a 9-pointer. Just want him to go out there and keep a clean sheet, see what happens. The midfield 5 have got some really good fixtures though this game week. West Ham, Salah, beautiful. Saka against Spurs, what should be a very open game. Hopefully allows Saka to be a little bit more creative and a bit more goal threat, but we'll see. Look, Fernandez's numbers are insane. This guy is having insane numbers. I don't know if we can bring these numbers up here somewhere. It would be nice. Off the stats. There we go. Having some insane numbers, His expected points is 26.5, and he's well under that. His XG at the moment on average is, 2, and it's 0.39 expected, which is pretty good. Per appearance is, whatever. If you have a look at X8, it's 2.2, and he's only got 0.45. He is showing numbers of a guy that should be flying in FPL, and his actual per appearance numbers, very poor because no one at United finishes a chance. And yeah, he's created 16 chances already this season. Obviously, Rashford looked amazingly good as well, and I know he's being very quickly sold. Wouldn't sell him either. I think both of the Man United assets are fine with the numbers they are showing. Sometimes FPL is a very long game. In Bremo against Everton, arguably captainable if Forest against Haaland wasn't a thing. And look, yet again, Saka playing Maddison, Maddison playing Saka in an open game. I see goals. This one could be 3-3. So I'm very happy to play both of them. And Haaland is, of course, up front. So that's my team. You guys already know that I'm planning on rolling because it allows me to, in game week 7, to make my couple of changes. And those changes are Semenyo to Morris with the double game week. Oh, it's going to make me do that. Okay, whatever. So my changes are Semenyo to Morris in the double game week. I will not do this right now. I'll do it in a second for you because I want to show you this, and it's complaining that I will get rid of it. So, look, you guys already know, I showed it last week. Semenyo to Morris, and it's going to be probably at this moment Chilwell, but if Chilwell is the one that is not benched again, it will be Chilwell, and it'll be down to, at the moment, Kabore. I was worried he came out in the team a couple of weeks ago. He's now back in the team. It looks like starting. Out of all the Luton defenders, I think he has the most goal threat if you have a look at him. If you look at the Opta stats, he does get forward a little bit. And hopefully, you know, he's got 12 crosses already. One of them hits Morris's head. It would be nice in a double game week to get both of them. But at the moment, it's Kabore to fund the Morris move for the double game week. And then lucky last in game week 9, because this is what you're really here for, my game week 9 wild card. Now, this has got 0.4 mil in the bank, and there's a couple of punts in this team, but a few punts that I really like. Firstly, Edison in net. I just don't trust anyone else there from Man City at the back about who's going to play. Guardiola's come in and out of teams, you know, etc. Could go Ruben Diaz. Think putting Edison as a centre-thing at keeper is fine, except for when Areola at 4.1 will have some really good fixtures and is absolutely nailed for West Ham. There is a potential to maybe, if Turner kept his spot, to go 4.1 and 4.0, but we don't know if Turner will keep his spot. And, you know, we could go maybe for another 4.5 and switch Areola and the 4.5 keeper. I just think that, you know, the 4.5 and the 4.1 rotation, Areola in these bigger games is probably when he makes the most saves and gets points. At least with Edison, you know that, you know, if Areola went crazy, the week that you played Edison, he probably should keep a clean sheet, so he's at least got to get 6 points, which is fine. My team in Game Week 9 would look like Botman, Robertson, I'll talk about Robertson in a second, and Udogie, with Matty Cash and Stuppian on the bench. And that's mainly because of Stuppian, after he plays Man City, goes Fulham and Everton. Matty Cash plays West Ham first up, and I think they'll score. And then it goes Luton and Forest. And Liverpool, for those 3 fixtures, go Everton, Forest and Luton. I definitely want to get a second Liverpool asset in. It could be Darwin Núñez, but we don't know he's nailed. Robertson, I think, is the lesser of 2 evils. Now, can't get the Trent, but I want to tell you something. There's a lot of people saying, don't go for Robertson. He does not as attacking when Trent's out there. I get this. This is fine. Go watch the Wolves game and go watch what happened when we went 1-0 down and then we went to 1-1 and Gakpo came off. We went 4-4-2. We played Darwin up front with Salah. And what that allowed is 2 very wide wingers that roamed from wide to inside to really create. And what that allowed is Joe Gomez, who whipped some balls in, and more importantly, Robertson, to really bomb on old school Liverpool way. Like back, you know, last year, the year before, etc., where we used to go, get Trent down the line, get Robertson flying. Back in the days of Robertson and Trent, used to have that conversation, who's going to get more assists and stuff, and who's a better asset on FPL when the big at the back was big. If I expect what's going to happen supporting my great football club that I do, I think Klopp have seen that, go, that looked really good, I'm probably going to play more 4-4-2 moving forward, and I really expect to see Salah and Darwin with Harvey Elliott and Luis Diaz line up a lot in a 4-4-2 moving forward. And if that's the case, and I want to see the evidence, this is the beauty of a Game Week 9 wildcard, we get Game Week 6, 7, 8 data. If Liverpool start lining up in this 4-4-2, which I think they would, and it's very old school Klopp, balls to the walls, off we go attack, Robertson and Trent are just going to be bombing on into the space, and if that's the case, I think Robertson is a very good pick. Now, if Robertson isn't doing that, and they go back to this inverted fullback stuff, which I think for Liverpool doesn't work, but for most clubs it does, like Spurs and City, then I probably wouldn't go Robertson. What it allows me to do, though, after 3 game weeks with this team is I can move Robertson down to a 4.5 mil, and I can move one of my midfielders up to Bruno Fernandes or Saka, etc., depending on prices. Now, Udogie obviously stays in. Salah's nailed. Obviously, if I've kept him this long, I'm never taking him out. Maddison stays because he's looked fantastic and is the main creator. And Mbeumo not leaving anyone's team. I think he's nailed for the rest of the season. And then the two big picks for me is West Ham have really good fixtures long term. So from game weeks, 9 to maybe to 12, 13, it's not too bad. Game weeks moving forward, you can't see it here. Maybe if I went into maybe a transfer and West Ham, for instance, and go to Ward-Prowse, there we go. Have a look at the fixtures after game week, get Villa, Everton, pretty good, but then they get Forest, Burnley, Palace. Spurs is very attacking. Fulham, Wolves. They don't get really bad till 18, and then once you get to 18, you could maybe sell him, or if he's in good form, keep him, and then Sheffield and Bournemouth. And it's not the James Ward-Prowse of old. At Southampton, he sat as a deeper line playmaker, back in a defensive midfielder role, and he only got returns when there was a set piece, or a corner, or a pen. And that was it. If you're watching him at West Ham, he's playing as an 8, bombing into the box, and a couple of his returns are coming from him surging late into the box. When we go for midfielders on Fantasy Premier League, we go for 1 or 2 midfielders. A really creative, I'm the big man in the middle of the park, that I'm going to get the ball and I'm playing for everyone. Like the Madisons, the Brunos, etc. Or we go for I'm a goal-scoring midfielder, like an inside forward like Salah, or, a player like Saka usually, Martinelli when he's on, stuff like that. Or bustling midfielder that gets in the box a lot. And you're thinking the yesteryears, the Lampards, the Gerrards, etc. Ward-Prowse fits more that latter build, not saying that he's Lampard or Gerrard, but he's playing that role where he's getting the license under Moyes to really get going. If you want to think about Moyes at Everton, that was Mario Fellaini getting into the box late doors to create havoc. Ward-Prowse is doing that. When West Ham go on the break, I think he's a great asset, and I think at the moment this team is really good. Then Diaby as well has got great fixtures, covers my Watkins, because I really want Watkins, but I think with the form that's going and showing, Haaland's definitely in. Alvarez gives me anxiety. I think he is as nailed as he is. He's not going to come out in the team too much for the rest of the season. It is Pep Roulette, and if we see him start getting rotated, maybe I'll change my mind. But at the moment, I think Alvarez is going into the team, and he's just going to be nailed alongside Haaland. And if there is Pep Roulette, so be it. Because I think at the moment, compared to most forwards, the form Alvarez is in, you'd rather take 30 minutes of Alvarez than anyone else. Obviously, on the bench, that leaves Archer, Cash, and Estupiñán. It means the team could switch in and out really, really well. And I think for the first 2 game weeks, especially Salah would be captain against Everton and Forest. And then, obviously, against Bournemouth, we have to make a decision. But that is my Game Week 9 wildcard team. Very different. I think it's great. I think there's potential there. I know there is no Bruno, there is no Saka, there is no Rashford. But I can get to him if I want to. There's no Son. We'll see what the next 3 game weeks of data do. But for me, I think having Mbeumo, Diaby, Ward-Prowse allows me to go Haaland, Alvarez, and Salah, and Robertson. And that for the first 3 game weeks after the wildcard, I think is really great. And then after that, we'll go Robertson down to someone and really allow for me to go somewhere else. I could even go to a 4.0 and then really free up some funds. Because if you look at this, and we've got Kabore here, gives me 2.9 mil, which allows me to get to basically any of the 9 mil midfielders below. So that's Son, Salah, Rashford, you name it. And if I do Ward-Prowse, gets me basically to all of them, bar Son at the moment. And that is not a bad spot to be in. With that being said though, guys, that is the team and what my wildcard plans are. Rolling this week, hopefully having a good week, then getting in 2 double game weekers, and then, fingers crossed, we get to game week 9. We wildcard into this team or something similar, and we will be okay. If you've enjoyed the episode, give it a like. Do subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you want to see Punt of the Week and you want to see other game week content, definitely follow the FPL DOPADA channel on YouTube. The link is down below. I can't stress this enough. Me and Paul are going to be putting in some massive work on the YouTube. Dom's going to be putting on some massive work on Twitter, because you can follow us on Twitter too. And what that will mean is it will allow you guys to get more content, make yourselves better, and maybe we can help you reach the top 500k, top 100k, top 50k, or maybe, just maybe, one day someone that watches our videos might just win FPL. It would be pretty cool. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you and goodbye.